Hello all, welcome back. So in this video, I just wanted to quickly um, go over some of the basics about Kali Linux. So if you're familiar with Linux or you've used Kali Linux before, or if you consider yourself a Linux expert, you could just skip this video. This video is for the beginners who are absolutely brand new to ethical hacking or penetration testing and they're not familiar with Linux at all, and that's fine. We're just going to go over some of the basics of the Kali Linux environment here. So usually when you boot into KDE, this is a desktop environment, and the desktop environment is on top of this X Windows system here. And you can see that I have a GUI and I have some of the basic programs that you might use, like the File Explorer, which is a lot similar to Windows. If you used a Windows computer before, we have all of our directories here and that sort of thing. We have a notepad application here where we can write some notes, and we have the browser here, which it comes by default with Firefox. Now there's a few things actually I'd like to do with Firefox right off the bat. I'm just going to hide the bookmarks. I'm going to remove this from the toolbar, and actually I'm going to make a separate video about um, Firefox because I don't want to get off track here. So you have your browser to access the internet, and then you have your shell, okay, your bash shell. And in KDE desktop environment, we use the console for the shell. There are other shells installed on the system. As you can see here, we have the Qt terminal, we have a root terminal emulator. Um, yeah, so, but this is the default terminal. So on Unix systems, which Linux was derived, um, the program that they use to interpret and manage commands was referred to as the shell. So it provides a way for us to create executable script files. We can run programs. We can work with file systems. We can compile code, and we can manage our computer. We can navigate through our computer through the directories and find files. We can interact with files. We could copy files. We can move files, rename files, and that sort of thing. And most Linux experts consider the shell to be more powerful than the GUI. So this is the GUI here, which is a graphical user interface. Okay, it's what provides us uh, you know, the environment for us to interact with the computer. But for the most part, if you're working with penetration testing or ethical hacking, or you're doing any sort of um, cyber ranges, like Hack the Box or anything like that, you're probably going to spend a lot of time in the shell. Okay. And the bash shell that we're using, which stands for the Born Again shell, and it was derived from the fact that the bash is compatible with one of the earliest Unix shells, the Bourne shell. And it was named after its creator, Stephen Bourne, sorry, and represented by the sh command. And you can see that right now we have um, when we start up the prompt, we have the regular user, which is denoted by this $ here. And the root user, also called the super user, will have a hash symbol or a hash mark or a pound sign like that in front of our username. And usually, uh, for most Linux systems, um, the $ or hash symbol are preceded by the username. You can see right here, and then the system name, which is here, okay, and usually the current directory. And we're not in any directory right now. We're basically in home. So we could actually type in a command to see that we're in our home directory, which is the default location for the user. Okay, and we could just enter commands directly into the shell. And For example, if we wanted to list, we could just type ls and it'll list all the folders and directories inside the home directory. Okay. Um, let's see. I've made a few notes here. There's a few commands we could try. We already tried the pwd, which prints the current working directory. Um, we tried ls, which um, lists the files and directories. And let's see, go to my notes here. So there's 12 common Linux terminal commands that I came up with here. So we've already done ls. We can also get a detailed view. So if we do ls l, you can see we have more information printed out. So sometimes um, when we have a command, there's options. So the option can change the behavior of the command. And sometimes the um, options can be grouped together. You don't have to uh, write a hyphen after each one. So for example, if you do ls, l, a, and t, we get a lot of information, but we could also group those commands together. So if I just remove the hyphen there, type it all together, we get the same output. See? So this is the command for the long listing to show the hidden dot files and list by time for the T. So the L is to long list, and then the dash A or tac A or hyphen A is to show the hidden dot files, and then the tac T or dash T list by time. Okay. Um, so let's see. Let's go over some of our options here. The next one would be so we already saw that we were in our home directory. So what if we wanted to change to another directory? Let's say we want to go to the documents. So we could just use the cd command, which is change directory, or change the working directory we want to go to, and we could just say documents. Okay. And now you can see that in our bash output here, it actually shows us the directory that we're in. So if I type ls, you can see that it's empty. Now, if we want to go back, we could just type cd and then 2 periods. And now we're going to go back to our home directory, which is right here, it's shown here. Okay. And then of course, let's just go back there for a second. Go back to documents, and then if we try the pwd command, which is print working directory, it'll show us the entire output of where we are. Okay, so we can navigate back and forth between directories or locations on any system that we're connected to. Okay, so now that we're in the documents, let's say we wanted to make a new directory. Okay, so we could use the create new directory command, which is mkdir, and we have to give it a name. So normally it's the command and then the option or what you want to do following the command. So we want to make a directory. We want to type it. We'll just call it test. So now if we type ls, we can see that there's a test directory there. Okay. And let's see. Let's say we want to remove that directory. We could type the rm command, then the directory itself. And it says we cannot remove because it's a directory. So we have to add an additional parameter to remove that directory. Okay. Um, let's see. So we could use the copy command. So we could use the CP, and then let's say we have a source file, and then we want to where we want it to go. So we have the file we want to copy, and then the destination. So let's say the destination was test like that. That's how we could copy uh, the text, the source file to the text directory. So we have the copy command, and then we have a move command. So we could type mv, and let's say we have like old.txt, and then we have new.txt. It would rename and move the files or directories to that location. Um, let's see. Let's make a sample uh, file here for a second. So we could use the touch command to make a file. So I'm just going to say test.txt, and if we ls, we can see it's there. And let's say I want to, let's see, we go just to check, just to make it simple. We go to our documents, you can see that text file is there now. So let's just keep it simple, and I'm just going to say hello and save it. And now if we want to display the content of that file, we could say, we could use the cat command, test.txt. That's going to say hello. Okay. Let's see, the echo command, we could say echo hello Linux. Okay, and it's going to print it out to the shell. And if we want to send it to that file, we could say, oh yeah, if we type a command and we have a file, let's say we have the test. If you type the first few characters and you don't want to type the rest, if you hit the tab key, it'll complete it for us. Okay, so you can see the text has been replaced by what we echoed out into that file. Okay, so you can see, go back here, it's right here. Okay, I don't want to get too complicated here. Um, let's see. So we have the grep command. Um, so grep is searches for text, uh, using patterns. So let's see. We could do grep. Um, let's see. Hello. And want to search in the directory we're in. So let's see. So you can see here that we found that hello is contained within our test.txt file. You can see it's right here. Okay. Um, what else? Oh yeah. Um, the man command will show the manual page for any other command. So for example, if we type grep, it'll give us all the information or the manual regarding the grep command. So it'll show us like how to use it. So we can see here it's like grep option, patterns file, etc. So um, most I think all programs, I guess all commands pretty much have um, manual. Thinking every I don't think I've ever come across a program that doesn't actually have a user command manual. Okay, so anytime you're using a new piece of software or program, um, you could just type the man for it. Okay, so for example, let's see. So we've got the NC, you can see here, netcat manual. Okay, we have a whole bunch of different uh, programs we could use here. So a lot of them are, uh, for example, Nmap. Okay, Nmap has its own manual, so you could say man Nmap. You can see here it'll explain to us, like tell us what it does, um, how to use it, some example commands, example output, etc. Okay. Um, Here's all the options that I was telling you about, the dash or tac SL, tac PN, okay, and then you could put them all together in a string of commands, okay? So you can see here nmap, okay? All right, anything else? Like I said, I don't want to make it too complicated. You have your system settings. Of course, you can customize your Kali Linux to make it look how you want it to look with, wallpaper, themes, that sort of thing. Um, what else am I missing? Anything here? I think that's about it for the basics. If there's anything I missed, I just wanted to do a quick video showcasing the Bash shell. So the next videos we're going to get into here, um, we have, let's see, I've made some notes. So, all right. So this sort of falls under the setting up section. So we've already set up our Kali Linux with Parallels, UTM, and VMware Fusion. And now we've gone over the user interface, the desktop environment, some of the built-in programs, and we've touched on the Bash shell a little bit. Okay, I don't want to get too complex because for the beginners, the people that are new, we don't want them to get too confused right off the bat. So I'm going to stop here, and then our next video will be the introduction to reconnaissance, um, where we will use Nmap for host discovery, maybe do some banner grabbing, some basic operating system fingerprinting, and that sort of thing. So I'm going to try to keep this video small, short, easy to digest, easy to understand. And if there's anything I missed or there's something that you're confused about with Kali Linux or any other Linux, let me know in the comments and I'll try to address that in the next video if I forgot something. But I just wanted to keep this short, sweet, and simple. So by now you should be able to log into your Kali Linux environment and find any programs that you may need to use and grab your shell and your bash shell and get familiar typing in some commands. Um, okay, and getting the output. So you can see here also that there's a lot of help. If you type in the wrong command, it'll it'll tell you you can install something, etc. So it's very useful. Play with the bash shell, get comfortable with it because you're going to spend a lot of time in the shell. Okay, so I hope you like this video and I'll see you in the next one.